Hi you guys, this is my book review for February. Back of the bookshelf book club. It's one book club that I joined last month, and for February we decided to read The Poppy War by RF Kuang. The genre is adult fiction, fantasy, historical fiction. It's a bit about warfare, I think, a lot, and with shamanism, and it's very much out of my comfort zone because I knew in the reviews that they talked about some things I don't like to read about. So because I have bad memories from childhood, and as an adult I have seen, and well, let's just say it's very not comforting that I have to read some of these things that are really confronting me with things I really try to ignore or stay away from. So, but that being said, The Poppy War. This is the book. I've read it in an ebook on Kindle. On the front of the book it says woman, warrior, weapon, and god. It says it all. The book is about a woman named Rin. She has to go through things in her life that, well, it makes me uncomfortable with it, but in the timeline that the book is written, I think it's something you can expect about it, but she comes through and she fights for what she's worth. And the first 4 chapters were a bit harsh to get through. In chapter 5 I got in a point that the Rin, that's the leading lady of this book, she had to get her first period, and because she was on a school with fighting things, and she, well, already got stuck in a position that she has to make some very harsh choices in her life. And the point that she got a first period, she complained about some discomfort from it. And we all know that if you get your first period, it's not really like, well, heaven. So I think it's for 85% for every girl, it's a hell on earth when it first happens. So she decides to get the drink or the toxin, and that probably could destroy her womb, and she will not have her periods anymore. And she just makes that decision in a split minute, and I was just like, no, you did not. And she did, and I know why, and I understand the circumstances that she's in, so she has to. But in my mind, you can't do that in just that split second. So for me, it was really hard to read. So I know where it comes from, and I respect her decision, but on that moment I hated her really a lot, because she could have tried it for 1 month to see if the next time was that harsh as well. And I know she could miss some of these things like school, but some say that she was already behind, but the period was 3 days, and because she took that toxin, she was out for 5 more, and that's why she was 8 days loss of school. But, well, it's all what if, and I'm not the girl in the book, so I respect it as it is, but I just wanted to get it out there. After that, it was, well, a lot of description about what happens to her, where she stands, what she's fighting for. She makes decisions like how she can grow as a person, but also in her learning traject. It's harsh for her, I think. It's not like, well, she's there, she's not, she's there, she's not. No, she's everywhere, and she has to fight for it every single moment of the day. And if she wants to survive, she has to make decisions that are not thinkable if you're living in our lives like now. But it's a book that gives you emotions and things to think about, that it's gonna be broaden your mind. You see things different. You're gonna explore your own opinions about things. And we know that we have a lot of discussions about bullying on schools, and children are harsh to each other. Well, this book is gonna open your mind in a way that you will be confronted by the feelings of Rin, but also her classmates during the book, because later on they are at war, and she has some situations with some of her classmates that, well, she hated their guts a lot because they bullied her a lot in a way that it's not really nice. And, well, let us say they surprise her, and she is surprising them by making the decisions that she's making, and she fights for things that she thinks about that it's good. I'm gonna be spoiling a bit about now, because some of the things are hard to explain if you not know what I'm talking about, because she has to make a decision about shamanism, and she has to think about if she's gonna be worshipping a god or not, and she has to open her mind for it. She's scared as shit at it, and I think she's right to be at that point, because she needs to understand if the god takes over and gets its way, she will destroy the world in a way it's not gonna be better for her and everyone she loves. So it's good that she's gonna be the way she is in the book as well, and I'm very excited about what I'm gonna read in the next book, because in the end she gives the god what she wanted, and she knows about her decision, what it's gonna take to get her feet on the ground. But I think Rin is gonna be marvelous in the way she gets through the book as a woman. She grows, and I think she's gonna be what she needs to be. I don't know if it makes sense for you guys, but I really had, when I was at chapter 14, the idea I don't have to read the next book, because it was a bit not really my taste for reading. But there are trigger points in the book that, well, I think when they go to Cardelaine and Guinois, it makes you really decide and understand that if a country is in war, they do things to each other that's not ethically allowed, or you don't want to think about, because they describe in the book things that I know still happens if you go to Africa in some places. It's not been a long while ago that if you look it up, you know that people will be dissected in a way you don't want to really think about. In our first war and second war, and still, if you understand where women and children, but also guys in a some kind of way are screwed over by other people. Because if you just look around, people and humans alike can do stuff to each other in a way you never thought you could. Because if you go back to the Second World War, Hitler made these camps and they treated all kind of people in a way, they experimented on them. And this book takes you back to some of these things that you think, how could a normal, regular thinking mind be capable of doing that? But seriously, it still happens these days with some wicked brains that you don't understand that it's even possible that they do it. But so it's a bit uncomfortable if you have to read it, but if you are very interested in all these things and you don't mind that it's gonna be a bit gruesome, because you have to get over it to read this book, because it's gonna be in there. And I think if I need to or want to read the next book, you have to decide if you want to read more about it, because I think we will be having a lot of more these gruesome details in the next. But overall, I love the book. I love that it makes you think about things and ethics. It will change your point of view and your opinions, I think, a bit. It makes you grow. So, can I recommend this book? Yes. Will I recommend this book? Yes. Will I warn you? Yes, because it is gruesome, and yes, there are things in there that you probably don't want to read about, but I think it's good for education to read this. So please read The Poppy War from RF Kuang and give Rin the love she needs, because Rin is an amazing girl that grows up in a harsh way, and she has to decide what kind of woman she's gonna be for the next book. So I hope you like my book recommendation and review from this book. This is my first fit like this, so I hope you enjoyed it, and if you do, maybe see you next time. Bye.